Alright. So the green Meanie, as I am naming it, is in the garage, and I've started work on it. I want to pulley swap this thing, because, believe me, driving a lawnmower at 5 miles an hour is really quite boring. But before I do that, I really need to fix the steering. And that's the steering box down there, or whatever you want to call it. And you can see that the whole steering column is moving back and forth in this stupid plastic piece here. And somehow I need to get rid of that slop, but that plastic piece is all worn out. I don't want to buy a new one, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Also, the steering wheel is a little bit loose. Sometimes it'll turn on the steering column. But yeah, 19.5 horse Briggs opposed twin, and I was a little worried about it. I mean, I knew these things are supposed to be reliable, but this thing wasn't being reliable. At least it didn't seem like it. At first I think it was due to old gas and maybe a little bit of gunk in the fuel line, but that cleared out, and I realized the reason it kept dying was it was dying every time I was getting off the thing. And that's because it has this kill switch here, so that was as simple as disconnecting it, and it doesn't show off anymore every time you get off it. And yet, I drove it home from my grandparents' house today. I bought it yesterday. I actually was riding my bike and I saw it for $200. I didn't have $200, but I texted the guy, offered him $150, and he said sure. So I went and I picked it up, and it was pretty close to my grandparents' house, so I drove it over there and parked it there overnight. And yeah, here it is now. Battery tray is out, and while it was out, I decided to put a coat of rusty metal primer on it, so that's drying right now. But yeah, I really haven't, that's all the progress I've really made on it so far, is taking the battery tray out so I can get at this. Please tell me what I can do about this right here, because I obviously cannot go 40 miles an hour with the steering column moving back and forth like that. Maybe put some kind of a metal collar in there, but I don't know how I would do that. And also, I'm sure I'm gonna have to take the steering column out, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. Let me know in the comments, does this thing come off? How do I get the steering column out? And how do I fix that slop there? Alright, well, Here's the first video on green Meanie, just to show you what we have to start with. Actually, I pumped up the tires too before I drove it home. And these rear tires had no pressure at all. And I had no idea. Like, that's how much weight these things can hold up with no pressure in them. Also, the whole front axle is loose. If you don't know, it pivots side to side so it can adapt to the terrain. And the pivot is just loose, so the whole front axle moves back and forth. Somehow I gotta fix that. So that's another thing we gotta do. After I've done those two things, it'll be a lot less sketchy, but I don't know, I think we might have a little bit of slop in the bushings here too, but that might just be the front axle too. But yeah, that's what we have to start with, so I'll see you in the next video on this thing.